It's the Joseph Bristol Show.
Welcome to another episode of the Joseph Bristol Show. So I actually recorded a couple of videos throughout the week that I was going to use for this video, but I'm going to change it up. Actually, I'm going to just use a few. I don't know why I did that. You know, sometimes one part of my body itch, and instead of scratching it with the part of my body that is there, so like the right side, my right cheek might itch, instead of scratching it with my right hand, I will reach across with my left hand and scratch it. I always thought that was kind of strange. I wonder if other people do that too. So in today's episode, what I wanted to talk about was communication, and more so the purpose, having purposeful communications. Last night I was talking to a friend about the Rashard Brooks thing, how he we were just talking about, you know, cops and what's going on in the world and all that good jazz. And she was saying, like, you know, she's very adamant. So I'm telling her, like, yo, communication is key. We got to be able to talk to each other. You know, I hate that my blinds, the whole thing fell down, the whole bracket fell. And instead of me fixing the window, I'm like leaving it like that. But I was talking to her and explaining to her how, first off, the guy was drunk, and it's against the law to drink and drive. That's the very first thing. And of course, nobody wants to go to jail. I've been to jail numerous times. So as somebody who's been there, nobody wants to go to jail. It's just that simple. Nobody wants to go to jail. So I understand his resisting, his fighting. And then I'm totally against murder unless you have to kill the other person. If someone's trying to kill me, I'm going to kill you. And if I'm trying to kill someone and they kill me, I got what I deserved. So with that being said, me and her were talking, and she just did not want to listen. She was just angry and, oh, that's wrong, and you're on the side of the cops, and you're an Uncle Tom, and blah blah blah. And at first I wanted to get angry with her, because I'm saying to myself, me and Uncle Tom, you clearly have no idea who I am. How my entire life I have been fighting against the judicial system. I used to tell my family that, yo, I'm not copping out to nothing. I'm not taking no probation. I'm not copping out to no charge. I'm taking it to trial. My family used to argue with me, fight with me, cop out, take the probation, la 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 la. A couple years ago, they watched 13th on Netflix, and they had to call me and apologize. Like, yo, we're sorry that we never believed you. So I've always fought the system. I've been blessed that no matter how much I curse and yell and immediately get an attitude with police, they have never really roughed me up, except that one time they put me in cuffs and slammed me up in the elevator. But the guy was mad because he couldn't prove that I committed the crime. I guess, so what I'm trying to say is communicating. So when I was talking to her, and she's getting mad and just shouting, and she's just not listening to anything I'm trying to say to her. And I'm telling her, listen, first off, if we're talking and you talking to me about trying to understand where I'm coming from, and I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, we don't need to shout. Secondly, I'm not dead, you're not dead, this man is not your family, he's not my family. So we don't need to get so angry that we're attacking each other while talking about this man. We're communicating. We should be able to share our ideas and our thoughts so that I can understand you and you can understand me, and so that we can both come to an agreement on what has happened and what's going to happen moving forward. And I woke up this morning because I was just thinking about it, like last night before I went to bed. Then I thought about it this morning when I woke up, because I'm like, yo, she was pretty angry, and she just didn't want to listen. And everything I'm saying to her, she's taking my words and misconstruing them, like, oh, you don't care, and you support police killing people, unarmed people for no reason. And I'm telling her, no, you're not listening to what I'm saying. The guy broke the law. He drove drunk. It's against the law to drive drunk. If you drive drunk, you can kill someone. So what would we have said if this guy would have killed somebody and the police did nothing? We would have been mad at the police. So either way, the police is in a bad situation. If he stops the guy for breaking the law, and he kill him, he bad. If he don't stop the guy from breaking the law and the guy kills somebody else, he's bad. situation could have been handled so different. So the other day I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about something that happened before, and they were upset about it. And so I tend to bring it up all the time. Especially, I bring up things that if I know you're mad about this thing and you haven't gotten over it, then I might bring it up in a conversation to try to resolve it. Because I don't think anybody should live with hurt and anger. Because in living with hurt and anger, that's how we perpetuate this world of evil and agony. Hurt and anger leads, it'll make you do things that you later on regret, that you later on are like, yo, I should have never did that. So today I want to talk about purpose and communication, because she was upset about something that happened to her, how somebody didn't do something. And so when I was talking to her, I was saying to her that she was like, oh, I always talk about it. I already talked to him about it. So I'm saying to her, okay, but when you talked, is that all you did? You just said what you had to say, he said what he had to say, and that was it? Y'all moved on? Yeah, and nothing changed, everything the same. And I said to her, well, that's the problem. There was no purpose in your communication. There was purpose. The purpose was to be heard. You just wanted to be heard, and you wanted him to hear you, and he wanted to be heard. Nobody's purpose was to solve the problem. That has to be the purpose of an argument specific. The purpose of the conversation. You have to have purpose in your conversation. So let's say you say to yourself, there's a lot of different reasons to have a conversation with somebody, but I am going to talk about a few of them. I'll name a few too. So you have persuasion conversation. That's you talking to somebody to try to persuade them, to get them, to do something that you might want them to do. And then you have informal conversation. You're telling somebody some type of information. That's all you want to do. You want to give them information. That's it. Listening conversations. So you're asking this person questions so that you can listen to them, to understand what it is that they are trying to say or trying to convey to you, what it is that they want to talk about, right? Or somebody says something to you, makes you angry. You're having an informal conversation, they say something you don't like, or something happens that you don't like. You get emotional, you snap, boom. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Depending on how you snap. Being emotional is not a bad thing. That's another thing that I hear a lot. People are so anti-emotional. But there's nothing wrong with being emotional, having an emotional visual reaction to something, in the sense that people have to be allowed to get angry. Like, if you say something to somebody that they don't like, they should be allowed to get angry or be disappointed or be hurt or whatever reaction they feel. Now, can they lash out against you? Can they just hit you or curse you out because of something that you said? Nah, I don't agree with that. But if their face immediately gets angry because of something that you said, don't stop saying whatever you're saying. Keep saying what you gotta say. They didn't say anything back. They didn't do anything. They're just visually angry about whatever you said. And I think this is very important, because that tends to happen to me a lot. Somebody will say something to me and my face will turn a certain way. Of course, I'm reacting to whatever it is that you're saying to me, but I may not actually say anything. I'm just listening because I want to understand why are you saying this? Because that's usually the first thing crosses my mind whenever somebody says something that I interpret as a negative thing about me or about something that I did. My first thing is, well, why are they saying this? Why would they say this thing? Because I need to understand, is it coming from a place of malice and anger, or is it coming from a place of constructive criticism? I want to see you do better. I want to see you have better. So I'm going to tell you why what you're doing is not going to help you get better and do better. So communication is very, very important. I think we don't emphasize this enough, how important it is to communicate, to talk to people and express yourself and explain yourself. And getting emotional to something that's said to you or something that happens to you, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that it's important that we learn to express those emotions or feel through it. You feel angry? Let it pass. You're going to be angry. Okay. And breathe in, breathe out. that was me. That was me letting out the anger. That's you. You know what I'm saying? You just let it out. Let the emotion come out of you, because that's what emotions are. They're emotions. They come, they go. It's a forever train. That's a part of the human experience. Emotions. So indulging in them is fine. It's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. Just how you express them is important, because you should be able to talk to people. So back to the person that I was talking to, who was complaining about something that happened to them. As I said to her, I said to her, when you were talking to him, you didn't say how you feel. Let him say how he feels in reaction to what you're saying. Then say what you want in order to fix the situation moving forward. So for example, the person like eating Cheetos in the bed while watching TV. Now, you don't like them eating Cheetos in the bed while watching TV. So you explain to the person, yo, listen, when you eat Cheetos in the bed, you drop crumbs in the bed. I don't like that. I don't want you eating Cheetos in the bed. The person then has to decide, do I care enough to stop eating my Cheetos in the bed? Right? So they have to make that decision. Do I care enough? I hear what you want. I hear what your problem is first. I hear what you want. And do I want to comply with your order? And that's how an argument should work. That's how a misunderstanding should work. Same thing. Hey, you did this thing. It hurt my feelings when you did this thing. Or when you said this thing. That hurt my feelings. And I would like for you to do this thing. Or do that thing instead, moving forward, so that it no longer hurts me. Because if you did this thing, I would be happier. See what I'm saying? That's fine. You don't want to do what will make me happy, because you want to do whatever will make you happy. And I don't want to do what you want me to do, which is accept you doing whatever you want to do to be happy. And in which case, now we have to part ways. But guess what? You said how you felt. You listened to how the other person felt. You then explain to the person how there is a solution. There's a problem. I gave you a solution. Now you have to decide, are you going to do this solution? But if you are just yelling and screaming and just, oh, you hurt me, oh, I'm angry, that's it. The other person says how they feel. Well, I don't care. I'm hurt. And this is why I did it. And I have to do what I got to do to be happy. That's it. Both parties walk away and the conversation done. Guess what? No one knows how to fix this situation. No one knows what they should be doing moving forward. No one has a clear plan on what needs to be done. This is why leadership is important. And when I say leadership, in any human group, someone is in charge. They were looking into group mentality, and what they found is that when people are in a group, like let's say there's a group of 100 people and something's happening, people are more likely to say, someone else will do it. Someone else will do it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're living in a house full of people, no one's going to clean anything, because everyone's going to say someone else will do it. Until someone in the group says, I have to do it. I have to do this thing. That's why I always like the Lego movie. I always say the Lego movie. Lego movie is the best example. This movie is amazing, because in the Lego movie, the first one, not the second one, the first one, in the Lego movie, the whole premise of the movie is you are the hero of your story. You are the hero. You are the main character. Everyone is special. Every single person on this planet is the person to do that thing, whatever it is. Oh, the world needs a Superman to fly up on that tower and save that little girl. Every single person that's there should be saying to themselves, I have to be the guy. I have to do this thing. I was talking to a girl the other day, and I was talking to her, and she's like, oh, nah, I ain't going to no protest. They beating people in the head. They killing people. I ain't going to no protest. I ain't going to die. And I said to her, if Martin Luther King thought like that, if Malcolm X thought like that, if Huey Newton thought like that, if Nelson Mandela, if these people Even if we're not even talking about civil rights, but I'm talking civil rights. If these people who knew that what they was doing was a dangerous thing and that people were going to come for them for doing this thing, if these people had that type of mentality that you have, the mentality of, oh, well, someone else will do it, when I say we, I mean me, black people would not be doing this very YouTube thing I'm doing right now. I probably wouldn't even be able to do that if Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Huey Newton, if these people didn't stand up and say, I have to be the one to do this thing. That's what made the Lego movie so powerful. That's what we all of us have to have that mentality. Communication is the foundation of human evolution. I believe that. I've been saying that for years because it really is. We would not be here doing this if we did not talk to each other. Talking, communicating, that's what made us special. If the animals could do, if raccoons could talk like how we talking right here, just, you know what I'm saying, yo man, let's have this plan, let's do this, let's cha 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 cha. If other animals could do that, some serious cognitive thinking, yo, we would not be fighting each other. We would be fighting the animals because they would in fact team the hell up and try to fight us like a war. They would try to take their own territory. They would try to build a community. And in them building a community, they would be infringing on our community. Thus, a war would pop out between us and the animals. So what I'm saying is that communication, that ability for us to plan and group and come together and talk, that is what made us, put us here today where we are in this time and moment. Communication is very, very important. We have to all of us have to practice better communication. You have to be able to talk to someone, say how you feel, they say how they feel. You listen, you understand. You're listening to understand. You're not listening so that they can stop talking and then you can talk. No, you're listening because you want to know, why are you saying this? What are you saying to me? How is what you're saying to me important to them? If someone hurts you, someone makes you angry, speak up. Speak up. Speak up. You have to say something. You have to say something. And then, I don't even believe in secrets. I don't believe in secrets. I believe that anytime anyone does anything, they tell somebody. They have to tell somebody. They either tell their pet, they talk to a plant, they write it in a journal, they tell somebody. Even taking a picture is making that thing that occurred no longer a secret. A secret would have to be something that happens that only you know about and you never again communicate again. You can't say it, you can't write it down, you can't take a picture, because a picture, years later people pull up pictures of other people in blackface and all kinds of stuff and use that against them. So it's just like if you wrote a note saying something and then people found it years later and used it against you. Another thing that I thought about is people paying attention to the person that's saying something to them. So I spoke about this before, and I tend to speak about this a lot, and I always say something about it because my sister tends to do it, and I got cousins that do it, and I know friends that do it, and sometimes even I do it. Sometimes I have to catch myself and be like, yo, like, you bugging. Like, what are you talking about? So I'm talking about when someone says something to you like, oh man, you should save your money and you should invest in, cryptocurrency. And then you're like looking at the person and you're like, oh yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna listen to that guy. You broke. You ain't even got no job. Oh, you ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? You make less money than me. Why would I take financial advice from you? And that is a dumb concept to live by. The idea that you're looking at who is saying something to you as opposed to what are they saying? What are you saying to me? Why should I listen to you? Not even why should I listen to you, but why is what you're saying to me important? So the problem that most people have is they are not able to pick seeds out of shit. That's what when I was going to school, this guy used to tell me. He's the one who taught me that. He's like, yo, don't pay attention to what people what people are saying. Pay attention to what they're saying. It doesn't matter who's saying it to you. pick seeds out of shit. So if you think that what they're saying is dumb, look for whatever is smart about what they're saying and just take that. Take that. But to not listen to someone because, oh, this guy is poor. Oh, you know, this guy's a molester and he told me not to molest. Oh, I'm not listening to him because he doesn't take his own advice. That's stupid. That's stupid. Of course you're going to listen to him. You know what? That guy's right. I shouldn't molest. That guy makes a very valid point. Oh my gosh, but he's a molester. Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. He is a bad person. I will take his good advice. But to say to yourself, I'm not listening to that guy because he doesn't practice what he preaches, and that's like, just stop and think about that for a second. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Oh, she can't tell me about raising kids because she doesn't have kids. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Of course she can tell you. Like, what are you talking about? We have to do something about these little silly things that's going on. And then, you know, another thing it gets into, complaining. I'm a huge advocate for complaining. Right, so, and then another thing. Before I end today's video, I was asked about the rawness. Let me tell you why I make my videos so raw like this. There is well, not a fear, but I have a fear. I understand technology. So not just facial recognition, which we all need to be writing, our governors and our mayors, our senators. We need some laws on the books that will prevent government and law enforcement from being able to use facial recognition to identify people in public spaces, and then later on, no knock warrant and bust into your house. So we have to complain about that. But another technology that's important, why I make raw videos like this, is the deep fakes. I forgot the name of it, but they called it deep fakes, which is basically videos of it's a technology where you can say something and then put someone else's face on your face, so it looks like someone else said this thing, but it was actually you, and it looks legit, like real. So when you have raw footage like this, camera moving, I'm holding it, you can actually see, you can hear the mistakes, you know that what you're watching, what you're looking at is a real human being. I'm not fake, I got on no makeup or none of that stuff. I'm just a regular dude just like you, making a video talking stuff that he understands about the world. That's why I do it this way. Plus, these are whole episodes of the Joseph Bristol Show. What is the Joseph Bristol Show? I'm gonna make a video on that. Probably that'll be my next video. What is the Joseph Bristol Show? You know what I mean? And what do you watch? What do you watch when you click on my videos? I'm working on that. And then, of course, I took down Human Nature 7 Sons. I'm making some adjustments to the book. I have to. I'm trying to get a new cover made. So if you're an artist, hit me up. Also, I'm still working on Heartbreak War. It's taking a little bit of time right there. Instead of changing faces, I changing faces. And make sure everybody registers to vote, man. And definitely participate in the political process. If you don't like your politician, you yourself can run to be a politician. So, you know, participate in the political process. Make sure you're registered to vote. Looking to vote by mail if you don't want to go out to the voting locations. You do vote by mail. All you gotta do is hit up your local, Google it in your area, vote by mail. Anything I say, you can Google anything I'm talking about. If I'm wrong, please correct me. That's what we should all be doing, correcting one another. You are your brother's keeper. So if I'm wrong about something, correct me. We can discuss it. Let's talk about it so I can understand how you feel and you can understand how I feel. Because there is right and then there is wrong. There is no such thing as perceived right and wrong. No. We all agree killing someone is wrong. We all agree on that. It's just as simple. It's only right if you have to kill them in self-defense. Someone's attacking you, you had to take their life, or else your life would be taken. That's fine. But to kill someone for any other reason is unacceptable. They had a suicide doctor, a doctor whose job it was to allow people to kill themselves. They would come and say, hey, I want to die, and he would help them kill themselves. That's murder. He went to prison. So again, we all have an understanding of what's right and what's wrong. It's just that simple. There are universal truths to the universe. You know what I mean? Like gravity is real. The stars, matter, atoms, cells. These things are real things that we all can agree on. So it's the exact same concept with right and wrong. So that's why we're talking. That's why we're communicating. That's why we're trying to all understand what we are doing in this world. What are we all doing? All of us. What are we all collectively doing? You know what I mean? It can't just be about our individual struggles. There has to be more to this life thing. There's a whole universe. Let's take care of our planet. Let's look for a new planet. Let's look for alien life. Yo, you know how many species are on the earth that we still don't even know about, that we haven't even discovered? So we don't even know about the life that's on our planet. But we're killing each other over the color of our skin. We're running after money. Money is a made up thing. Like, come on, man. We have to do better as a species. And the first thing for that is communication. This video is way too long. It's longer than what I wanted it to be. I don't know. I'm starting to think that my video is going to have to be like 30 minutes. I'll probably make 30-minute episodes of the Joseph Bristol Show. Because this, like I said, my show is about my life, me as a person, and my struggle with being a human, and just talking about my understanding of existence and what I'm doing here, what you're doing here, what we're all doing here on this planet. And that's what the Joseph Bristol Show is about. And we all collectively come up with an understanding of what is happening. What are we all doing here? Why are we here? What is the purpose of it? I feel like our existence is to worship, to praise God, and to understand that there is something greater than ourselves. Whatever you want to call him. And it. I prefer the phrase it, as I don't believe that our creator has a gender like we have a gender. So with that being said, then what is it in understanding the creator? By understanding the creator, we understand ourselves better, because he's made after his image. When we make robots, right, and we all go extinct and humans are gone forever, and all that's left on the planet is robots, guess what those robots are going to be thinking? Oh, somebody created us. We were created. And other robots will say, no, we are so intelligent. We created ourselves. We made ourselves. And then it's like, no. Something made us. Something designed us. Designed this thing. And that's what we are, technically. So I guess what? Maybe aliens made us? That goes into a whole other thing that I don't even want to get into. One day I'm going to make a video about my theory on aliens and humans and communication, man. We all got to do better with communication. We have to learn how to talk to each other, how to express ourselves, as well as how to understand other people, because it's not just about what you say. It's not just about how you say it. It is more about how the person perceives the information that you're giving them. How they take in that information matters. In my understanding, it matters way more than what you say or how you say it. So, and why? How do we know this? Because look at children. Look at children. It's important not on what you say or even how you say it to the child. It's important to understand, is your child able to understand what you're about to tell them? So, how someone perceives the information is more important than what you're saying to them or how you're saying it to them. Because once you know how they can perceive the information, or what type of information they're able to perceive, then you can then say, okay, well, this is how I'm going to give them that information. So communication, man, we got to do better with our communication. We got to talk to each other better. We have to do it. It's important. This is how we're going to make the world a better place. We have to talk to each other, understand each other, understand collectively what we're doing, what we understand, what we're not doing, how we're doing it. It has to be a group thing, not just in your local community, but in your state, and then in the entire country, and then in the entire world. We are groups within groups within groups within groups. So this video got longer than I expected, but thanks for watching another episode of the Joseph Bristol Show.